All right. All right, so now, so we are starting this presentation, and we'll make it quite brief. We'll make the recording available to you. If you have any questions, you can stop me, but I'm going for a very quick but precise presentation of the solution, the lab information system. Let me know if you're hearing me clear and we're ready to go.
Yeah, we can hear you clear.
Okay,
and is it possible to zoom out your screen?
Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, fantastic. So the solution now, the version I'm showing you is the desktop edition, the Windows version. The solution is also available on web, but the desktop version is more robust, especially if you do a lot of bacteriology or microbiome tests. And it's also got a few more features which are specific to lab. However, both the web and the desktop are synchronized so that the results that you're authorizing on your desktop, you also find them on your web, and you are therefore able to review them and even reprint them from the web solution. When you get the desktop solution, you automatically also get access to our web solution, which is synchronized to your desktop solution. So I'm going to sign in. Right, so here is the dashboard where you get options to add patients or search for patients. So from here you can add patients, and when you do that, you can enter the basic information here, including the funding details. In other words, your medical aid or cash details. And it's quite comprehensive in terms of what details you can add. There's one page for details, and additional details can be added here for the client, and even more details under this page as well. And there are more advanced features. And then up here, you have many menus. These are to do with billing, and this to do with management of claims and debtors, the clients that are owing you. And then these are laboratory specific reports, and these are accounting specific reports. These are analytical reports. And these are more to do with a hospital setting. And back office, this is where you can make other settings or adjustments to your system, like tariff prices and medical aids and your referring providers, many other things. And then this is the menu where you have settings which are specific to laboratory. So what I'll do is I'm just going to pull out a patient that I already have for demonstration so that I can use that for illustration. So I just searched, and there's the record. So now you see these are you can see the name of the patient up here. And on the right, you can see here the list of their tests. So I just picked one that I already captured. And on that, you can see the collection date and time of the sample, the time it was received, and the requesting doctors. And you can have two doctors assigned to a request. You know, as you can typically also have two doctors who are managing the same case. You know, say, for example, with an admitted patient, right? And then, so here you have a list of the requested tests. And this red star shows that the result has not yet been captured. So now I'm going to go to the test results tab, where you can see how the tests have been grouped according to department: chemistry, microbiome, serology. All the different lab test departments are catered for in the system. Although these three are the ones that are covered in this specific lab request for this specific patient. So I'm just going to pick the random blood sugar, and then you can see the actual results showing the parameters, reference ranges, and the units. And then I'm going to go to LFTs, and you can see the parameters, the reference ranges, the values, and the units. lipid, UNAs, free T3s, urine MCS. So I'll touch a bit more on the microbiome because there comes also the effect of the cultures. You can add multiple findings from the culture, and each time showing the outcome, typical outcomes like no culture done, or no growth obtained, no significant growth, or no pathogens isolated, or name the pathogens that were isolated, or PMG contamination, or no growth after 48 hours. And you can have up to 5 organisms documented for that specific specimen. And then for each, you then can also have the sensitivity done. And there are many drugs, but you again on your own as a lab can then adjust and add or remove the drugs that you actually do sensitivity testing for. And then you also can do stains records. You can also put them in the system, and you can also put additional comments. Pretty much unlimited number of comments that you can add on your own. And then the list of audit records just showing the changes that have happened on this particular test by different users. So on the comments, there's also, you can also pick a comment. Do you have a question?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Then on comments, you can actually save your comments so that you can always, instead of typing in, we can just pick a comment and set it. All right, and then we'll proceed. So that's about microbiome. There's many things to show. And then there's also HIV test. Well, then under hematology, there's also, these are the tests that I entered: blood culture, blood group test, full blood count. Of course, the presentation would not be complete if you did not do a full blood count presentation. You find that, so as you enter results, it actually flags high and low results with the red flag. And you also see that it automatically inserts certain comments which are common or default for a full blood count result. So now, after results have been authorized, you can then view the results. And the results template can be customized, of course, to reflect your letterhead and so forth. So that's the result, and it's got a QR code here. Just know that this whole layout can also all be adjusted according to you. Nothing is hard and fast. It's all really based on what you prefer. So you see that here at the bottom of the FBC tests, it has inserted some automatic comments here. And these are automatic based on things like the pattern that the system picks up on the results. And then there's also some more results here for the urine MCS. And then, of course, from here, you can so you can also see the results of the culture, how they're presented, and then the drugs for the sensitivity, grouped by categories as you want, or as you prefer. All right, and of course, showing the name of the authorizing personnel. So now, of course, from here, you can then print the result to your printer, or you can email it. You can email it to the doctor or to the patient. You can just print the QR code separately, or you can just send what we call an e-copy. An e-copy is basically a link that is viewed only on our secure platform and nowhere else. So that's the result. So as you view results, it also automatically generates the bill. So when you go to billing, you can see the result that was generated, the bill that was generated. There's many other elements that this request covers. So now, because we want to make it a high level overview and make it quick, I want to just quickly go to LIMS settings so that you appreciate what you can do on your own to adjust the system towards your preferences or your ideals. So you can go to this menu that says LIMS and you can go to lab tests and results. And from there, you find that the system already has, I think, about over 175 individual test profiles. So under each test, you find that you have your test names, and you can then define or adjust the units that you use. And you can also give each result its own template or its structure. Or you can also type a comment that you want to appear on each result. And you can also indicate what tariff codes are used for billing each particular test. And that follows for every one of the test panels you have. And of course, you can create a new test panel if you want. And there's no limit to how many test panels you can have. And on each test panel, you can have as many parameters as you want. There's no limit again. You can just keep adding parameters. And each time you define for each parameter, the test, the data type, in other words, whether it's text or it's a number or it's a drop down, select like, like positive and negative, that's a drop down. Or it's a formula result, that one the system calculate automatically. And then you also indicate the reference values that you do on your own. You can define the reference range for each age group, male and female, or generic. You can also indicate what kits are used for this particular test so that the system can automatically knock off from your stocks every time that test is run. I mean, there's other sophisticated features which we can cover in a separate session, things to do with computations and what we call artificial intelligence. But this is basic and to be enough to give you a very high quality results. And then I want to quickly go over reports. So your billing reports will enable you to understand your numbers, namely your finances, your revenues. So I'm going to just run a report just to give an appreciation. So you can filter by dates so that you can understand how your numbers are doing. You can filter by funding, like say specific medical aids, if that's what you want to see, or a specific branch, or by specific currency, or funding category like or either cash or sponsored. Sponsored is a medical aid, or whether they've been paid by the funder or not paid or partially paid, whether there's a balance either on the patient or on the funder, or the whole bill is fully paid or it's rejected as a medical aid claim, or referred by a specific doctor. So there are many ways to filter your reports. And there's additional filters, like you can also filter by a diagnosis. You can also filter by whether we have submitted the claim or we have not submitted the claim yet, or whether the total amount billed is 0 or it's just greater than 0. Or is other procedures or not. So well, let's run this report and see how it looks. Let me specify a currency. I want to see RTGS. So that's the traffic I have. So you can see the claim number, treatment date, billing, names, date of birth. See all these details, and you can get totals at the bottom. And there's also a summary here. So you can just see the total for each of the funders in that list. So you can see FMO is this number of bills, the total amount, and PISMAS, this total number of bills and total value. Now, I just want to, just for argument's sake, I just want to go back further, just for comparison, and run it again. And all right, now you see that there's more patients that I saw over a wider period of time. Of course, this is a demo account, so I don't have a lot of traffic because I'm not actually seeing any patients. So, but you can appreciate now how the numbers look over time. Now, I just want to also show you another report, which is particularly interesting to labs. Lab reports, I want to go to monthly statistics. So you can see, I want to go to 2021 and I want to see an overview of how many tests I had for each test for each day. So you can quickly see your numbers for the test profiles. And you can pick a year, you can pick a month. So ultimately, you know, business prosperity is about control. You want, and control is about how much you know, how well you understand what's going on, how much insight you have about the dynamics or the developments within your business entity. And then you also can run, the menu reports as I indicated, but I'll just pick on ones that are most relevant. I also pick a referral report so that you can, this one allows you to compare the different referring doctors to see which one is giving you more requests than others. Perhaps you want to decide which ones you should give promo items like calendars and so forth. Or you want to allocate, you know, things like bikes, or to decide where you should put your next branch. So the system will give you such valuable insights. All right, that being said, I want to stop here for now so that we, you know, keep it short and sweet. So shoot me with your questions now. Who's got the first question?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so on results, you said we can email.
Yes, you can email from.
What about sending via WhatsApp platform?
So sending under WhatsApp, you would have to sort of download the result on your computer and then attach to WhatsApp web. We have not yet directly integrated the system with WhatsApp directly. We are still working on that.
Okay, so now the system will have our logo so that when I download it as a PDF, it has our logo.
100%. You give us those things, we help you configure those so that it is your letterhead, you know.
Okay, and then second question. Now we print using the letterhead.
Yes. Yes. So the electronic copy typically is a letterhead that's already included, whereas the paper copy typically is space for your letterhead. But again, if you want the paper printed copy to also have your electronic letterhead, we can do that. It's all a matter of configurations and templates.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next question.
On accounting,
does
it also include the stock management, and also does automatically do the what do you call it, the profit and losses and the balance sheets?
No, it doesn't reach that depth of accounting. However, it does a lot of financial reporting so that you keep track of your sales, and you can see the outstanding payments. Because you also receipt in the system and print receipts in the system. You can also print medical aid claims in the system. You print invoices. You're doing all that in the system. So now you can then export data to your final accounting software, so that it simply does the final profit and loss without having to go over the sales details as well. So this takes care of your sales and invoicing, but the final profit and loss accounts, those are done outside. We're still actually finalizing our accounting system, but we expect to actually be doing everything you mentioned also in the same system.
Okay, so does it claim on 263?
Yes, it's integrated actually. You find that it actually says under processing, it says get signature or submit this claim. This is actually integrated claim processing right there, which is part of the system.
Okay, thank you.
So in terms of the billing, when you go to lab tests and results, for each test, you actually enter the tariff code so that the system knows that for this test, it's billed with this specific code, so that the system can then automatically generate the bills. So for example, here, let me just remove this tariff. And then when I go to, and I say auto bill, you see the bill has been generated in full. Why? Because the system already knows that for these tests that were requested, these tests, it knows that these are the tariff codes that are used for the billing side. So it automatically generates the bill. But understand that it will be using information that you have pre-fed into the system by going to the LIMS settings here and going to each test and then indicating the tariff codes. It's a once-off configuration exercise, but once it's done perfectly, you never have to worry about billing. It's done by the system automatically. The system already knows for this test, it's always this tariff code. And in terms of the tariff codes themselves, you can manage them more in the system under your manage tariff prices, manage tariff, treatment and drug codes, and then from here you can then add tariff codes that are missing if they are missing, by clicking new code and then entering the description and the fees. And you can also put a fee that is specific to a specific funder, so that the same tariff code can be billed differently depending on what funder or what medical aid or insurance this particular patient is on. Any additional questions?
Okay. Since you have said it can, but are we able to also get these codes? Because I understand you have been in the industry for a long time, so that we can start trip and bearing chat.
Yes, actually from day one, we actually start with all the standard codes. It actually comes preloaded with the funders and the tariff codes. What you might have, in fact, even typically the codes would be attached to the different tests, but we want you to, we'll still guide you so that you verify, because you have your own pricing as well. So want to make sure that you understand how it works, even though it is a default setting.
Okay, and even the CD8, the CD10.
Yes, so under diagnosis,
diagnostics.
yes, under diagnosis here, you find that when you click ICD-10 code, you just matter of just searching, and it will match. It already has the whole ICD-10 library. So it's a matter of just searching in the whole ICD-10 library for you to pick the particular diagnosis for this specific case.
Okay, all the system requirements, you said you want us to have a server, which is a desktop with 8 gig core i5 or above. What if we don't have an 8 gig at the moment, but we have a core i5?
Okay, so when you're starting, because you still have a low volume of data, you can get away with just 4 gig, but definitely not lower than 4 gig. However, we want you to have a plan for, so to make sure within about 3 months, you have something with at least 8 gig. I mean, it's easy to upgrade a desktop to 8 gig anyway. It's a matter of just buying more memory, and memory costs roughly about $80 to get 8 gig. So really, it is quite doable. And we also push for desktops because it's easier to upgrade a desktop than a laptop.
Okay, and on the network side, do we need a hub, or we can also use the wireless? We have our own server here, and we can connect all the other computers which needs the system. Or
Okay, so we recommend a LAN cable network because it's much more stable, and apart from being secure, it's much more stable. Wi-Fi, it works, but it's up and down, it's unstable. For a laboratory, the traffic generated by a laboratory is too intense to depend on Wi-Fi connection. Something you can do, but really for maybe the first 2-3 weeks, but you have a plan in place to be working on a cable network, because it's just much more stable. The work you do in a lab is too sensitive for you to have a network which is up and down all the time. Eventually, you may become upset with the system because of the network. So we don't want that.
what about on baking up? How we'll be doing? Is there a cloud where we can back up on the cloud or somewhere?
Okay, so the
Because
system so the system does make a copy for you. However, we recommend that you make your own copy on your server. And this is how you do it. Just coming to the desktop here and click backup all data. This allows the system to make a copy of the whole database onto something like an external drive of a flash disk, so that you have a copy which is away from the server in case something goes wrong, which can happen. But regardless of this,
thank you.
yeah, but regardless of this, it is making another copy anyway in parallel on our web platform. But it's important to have your own copy.
Okay, so do we need internet when we have this desktop?
Yes, but you don't depend on it. That's the difference, you see. If you didn't have internet, or you still be able to operate and function, but you now be missing out on things like that real-time synchronization, remote access to results for your providers. They will no longer be able to access them, because ideally, the moment you authorize a result, your sales provider should be able to access the result from their portal that we have already pre-built for them. But such a feature now requires you to have internet. It doesn't require as much internet as the web solution, but it does require some internet. However, you can function and operate without it. It just isn't optimal.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm done.
Okay. So in less than a minute, the meeting will be closing. So I'm hoping that we have covered most of the questions, but we can always pick it up directly. You can communicate with me via messaging, or we can set up another session and go into detail. Besides, when we set up, we'll do a training session anyway, so that we show you how to use it. Right now, I was showing you how it functions as opposed to how to use it. But from this, you actually have enough knowledge and understanding to actually operate it. It's a very simple and straightforward system, I can assure you. Much similar than the equipment you use to run tests. Thank you. I will end the meeting for now.
Thanks.
Sure.